effort and changes you have made in security under your administration.
You have done well in addressing insecurity, indiscipline and corruption, UN resident and humanitarian coordinator tells President Buhari.
Top on the list is to see that we scale up the number of girls enrollment in school.
Women Affairs Minister presents 1 year's scorecard as Information Minister inspects renovation of Radio House. Sultan visits Governor El-Rufai over Southern Kaduna crisis, sues for peace. Good evening and thank you for joining us on the Network News, reaching you live on the NTA. My name is Kenan Ima Abodike. Also reading tonight is Adeola Komi Akere in Lagos, while Kemi Akiwande is in Ibadan. We'll start from Mali, where ECOWAS delegation talks are set to resume in Bamako after 2 days of negotiations with the junta. Nigerian ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, who is the head of the delegation, told reporters that a number of grounds have been covered but have not reached agreement on all the issues. The soldiers have agreed to free the ousted president, Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, detained along with other political leaders since the coup on Tuesday, and he would be able to return to his home in the capital Bamako and be able to travel abroad for medical treatment. The junta wants a military-led transitional body to rule for 3 days, and the transition will be directed by a body led by a soldier who will also be head of state. Under the proposal, the government will also be predominantly composed of soldiers. Prime Minister Boubou Cissé, who has been held with the ousted president at a military base outside the capital where the coup began, would also be moved to a secure residence in the city. Now, the United Nations has commended the Buhari administration for the giant strides recorded so far in the fight against insecurity, indiscipline and corruption, which it described as critical towards placing Nigeria on the path to a sustainable future. The UN resident and humanitarian coordinator, Edward Callon, announced this during a courtesy visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Start by commending you and the people of Nigeria.
Leading the heads of 5 key United Nations agencies in Nigeria, Mr. Edward Callon was in the State House to formally appreciate President Muhammadu Buhari for his administration's continued support to multilateralism, especially the investment in rebuilding and modernizing the United Nations House in Abuja, bombed by Boko Haram before his coming to power.
Your Excellency, the reopening of the UN House was an act of defiance in the face of terror and attack on our core values of peace, freedom, prosperity, tolerance, and justice.
The United Nations team discussed various topical issues with the Nigerian leader and commended him for providing desired leadership and guidance in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, achieving a polio-free Nigeria, restoring security and stability in parts of the country, as well as promptly providing humanitarian support to those in need.
We are impressed with your efforts and changes you have made in security under your administration. We can see the progress that has been made, but we want to encourage you and your administration to complement the ongoing military effort with dialogue and a political process in the search of a durable solution. We also admire your leadership on the Lake Chad Basin, especially investing in recharging the Lake Chad Basin. This is a Pan-Africanist investment and need urgent attention by ECOWAS, African Union, African Development Bank, and other development partners. The UN will continue advocating for this investment to support a civilization of over 33 million people depending on the Lake Chad Basin.
Mr. Callon said the United Nations agencies are also impressed with Nigeria's renewed onslaught against corruption as bane of socio-economic development in the country.
We commended the President on his resolve to reform and return discipline in the public service, as well as some of the success he has achieved in trying to fight corruption. It is not only a fight of Mr. President or institution, Everybody has a stake in fighting this menace in society today.
President Muhammadu Buhari welcomed the show of appreciation by the United Nations for his administration's genuine efforts at dismantling obstacles to national development. He promised not to relent until Nigeria is placed on the path to sustainable future, but called for continued support of the United Nations.
I'm very grateful that the United Nations has put up such a formidable team that is dedicated to helping us. I assure you that we will continue to participate as much as possible to make your job feasible and comfortable. And please do not hesitate to inform us whenever there is any need in the course of your assignment here.
The president appreciated the various programs of the United Nations in the country, especially for women and children, describing them as impressive. During the engagement, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ihanere, as well as that of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, gave further details on areas of collaboration and cooperation between their ministries and the UN agencies. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The federal government says managing disasters at all levels must move away from the traditional way of handling to a more effective and efficient service delivery, especially in the midst of COVID-19. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, stated this at a retreat for heads of territorial, zonal and operations office of NEMA, which has as its theme effective and efficient service delivery at operational level.
With the 2020 flood predictions by Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, which identified 102 local government areas in 28 states will experience high risks of flooding, while 275 local government areas in 36 states, including the FCT, to experience moderate risks of flooding, as well as 389 local government areas to have low risks of the disaster, hence the proactive interventions and strategic partnerships with states, local and international donor agencies. This retreat for zonal coordinators and operation officers is geared towards building capacities to mitigate the likely effects of flood. Participants speak on their expectation.
End of this workshop, we expect that we'll go back to our various offices, having known new things to manage disasters at the strategic level.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development emphasized the need for teamwork to evolve effective and efficient service delivery to mitigate the effects of flood disasters across the country.
We cannot therefore continue to manage disasters by waiting to respond to them. We must evolve strategies for prevention, preparedness, mitigation, and response.
The essence of this retreat is to ensure that we rub minds to improve service delivery at the operational level.
It will be recalled that NEMA had inaugurated National Emergency Response Team deployed to flood-prone areas for prompt evacuation and response. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
More than 2,000 women have benefited in different areas through empowerment programs from the Ministry of Women Affairs for the past 1 year. Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tarling, is however looking forward to double this figure in the coming year as she gives scorecard of the ministry. Ngozi Silva Technicure has the report.
Being on the seat for a year, and it's time to evaluate performance. With a mandate limited to improving the well-being of women and the girl child, Dame Pauline Tarling checks the records. 900 trained in business, 50 women rehabilitated in VVF, 300 widows empowered, and another 300 in special skills. For the minister, it's a good outing.
I also convened a meeting with past ministers of women affairs to provide an enabling environment for galvanizing action towards promoting the ministry priority actions on the girl-child education and other related issues.
The minister emphasized that the feat she achieved was made possible through synergy with the Ministry of Health, Education, the media, and relevant key players such as the president and his wife, state governors and their wives, who jointly campaign against rape and gender-based violence in their various domains.
I hope that in the next 3 years, you will try as much as possible to wipe tears that Nigerian women have been shedding, as well as children, and to bring succor, so that we all smile to say that whatever a man can do, a woman can do better.
The event had virtual participants who applauded the achievement of the minister. In Abuja, Ngozi Silva, Technical, NTA News.
Nigeria's broadcasting stations are playing a critical role in the effective dissemination of information on COVID-19. However, the increased technological possibilities can be used with high premium for national interest. This was the major takeaway at the 6th annual lecture of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC. Haman Jabani reports.
Lecture which centered on 3 major points that include classification, broadcast reforms in Nigeria, and the role of broadcasting in crisis communication, sees effective communication at the center of managing crisis or disaster through prompt and accurate reportage.
This multimedia approach has helped in underscoring the role of broadcasting in crisis management and national development, and position the broadcast media as an indispensable tool in every development plan.
The media's role continues to be very important in society. Of course, the media faces a lot of challenges, but that in all things there's national interest and there's a need for the media to professionalize.
Things can be done with mutual respect and understanding, and dialogue is key.
Speakers commended the media in playing a strategic role in educating Nigerians on the pandemic and its effect and entrenching true democracy. However, they call for better welfare and training for broadcasters, provision of modern equipment, among others, to deliver effectively.
Nigeria is an open book, and it should not be. We have our values, and they are being diminished as a result of transborder data flows.
The Commission needs to build capacity to do evidence regulation.
Key players say, with the advent of social media and all forms of information and communication technologies, ICT, the media have become even more powerful, introduce instant feedbacks, thus making media convergence apt. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
With frequent cases of killings of Nigerians residing in northern Cyprus, the federal government has blacklisted universities in that country as she moves to investigate the death of Ibrahim Khalil, a 25-year-old student of civil engineering who died mysteriously in that country. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
Covered something and maybe he protested.
Pains and remorse filled the arena as mother of alleged slain student Justice Amina Bello narrates the ordeal her late son Ibrahim Khalil passed, believing that such will not repeat itself.
My son had sent his elder brother a message telling him that he said, I will tell mother to stop paying this school fees. I've realized everything about this place is a scam. My son discovered something and maybe he protested. More so with that document, I saw that they could transfer money into some other people's account. Maybe the children will be threatened and so on. Looking that he wasn't the one that gave the instruction, but he wrote his name and signed on top.
Ibrahim Khalil was said to have jumped down from an upstairs. A story the mother says evidence in her disposal proves otherwise. This is not the first time authorities in northern Cyprus, a region whose independence is recognized only by Turkey, is coming up with doubtable stories of how Nigerians die in their high institutions of learning, Nigerian government says.
He said it's not only Ibrahim. I can go through names. I have some names here. Augustine Ngok, Gabriel Soriwe, Olashubomi Okpe. These are just a few of the ones that we use. The death of Ibrahim Khalil should be the tipping point to to a stop in the killing of our children anywhere in the world, particularly in Northern Cyprus.
The Nigerian government is no longer ready to receive the news of unfortunate losses of lives of our citizens in that country, with the first stroke being the blacklisting of universities in that nation, advising students to register with the Nigerian Commission to safeguard over 8,000 undergraduates and other Nigerians in that country. In Abuja, Ikechukundukwe, NTA News.
The National Examinations Council, NECO, says it has adopted prognostic monitoring of the 138,550 students sitting for 2020 Basic Education Certificate examination to ensure conformity with COVID-19 safety guidelines for the examination. This is among several new measures made known by NECO Registrar and Chief Executive Professor Gatswill Obioma during the routine monitoring of the first paper of junior secondary school examination in Mina. Dauda Mohammed brings us that report.
Education certificate examination is conducted for candidates in the final year of junior secondary school. It is used for transition from junior secondary school 3 to senior secondary school 1. For an overview on the conduct of the examination ongoing in 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Registrar, Chief Executive Officer of the National Examinations Council, NECO, Professor Gatswill Obioma, monitored selected schools in Mina. Monitoring of creative and cultural arts, the first paper written by the junior secondary students showed full conformity with all COVID-19 safety guidelines in the schools, though with slight differences in execution, mainly due to capacity.
My paper was a splendid one. I enjoyed it because most of the things that I saw there were the things I read.
I feel suffocated, but I just have to endure.
I cannot say I'm fully ready for the full students. You know, we are just experimenting with this number.
At the end of the monitoring exercise, which also included the inspection of isolation center in one of the schools, the registrar of NECO, Professor Gatswill Obioma, expressed satisfaction with the facilities put in place.
We expect that for the senior secondary school exam, we expect that up to 1.1 million, about 1 million people register. So this is like a dry run.
The Basic Education Certificate examination, also known as Junior WAEC, is expected to end on the 4th of September. In Mina, Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Rehabilitation work at the Federal Ministry of Information building, popularly known as Radio House, has continued despite the slowdown it experienced on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. Anthony Fulton reports.
Radio House stands tall as the tallest building in Garki area of the Federal Capital City. It houses the Federal Ministry of Information and the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. Since it was open for occupation and use, the last time it experienced any major rehabilitation dates back 33 years. With the present administration's resolve in infrastructure development, rehabilitating ailing ones is therefore not out of place. It is in line with this that the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, accompanied by the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry and other top management staff, visited Radio House to assess the level of work done so far, given the loss of time the rehabilitation work has suffered on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. The scope of work to be done will include rehabilitation of the entire edifice, elevators, sanitary and water system, as well as electrical networks from the high tension.
From what I've seen from the model, in a few weeks' time, we're going to have a brand new radio house. The visit today has been quite useful because it has given us the opportunity to also make some further directions and also see how fast this whole project can move.
To this end, the minister, while expressing satisfaction with the assurances from the contractor that more men will be put on the job to speed up the 449 million naira work, assured of constant maintenance.
We can assure it will not happen that we will not wait for another 33 years before we overhaul the edifice. Of course, I hope that regular maintenance, which ought to be a management concern, and priority will be taken seriously by the management of the radio house.
Lai Mohammed promised to return to Radio House in 3 weeks' time for another round of inspection. Upon completion, this is the new Radio House that will be presented. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the composition of the Governing Council and appointment of Executive Secretary of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities in line with the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2019. According to the Act, the Commission shall be headed by a part-time chairman and 6 members who shall be persons with disabilities representing the geopolitical zones of the Federation, subject to confirmation of the Senate for a 4-year term of office in the first instance, and may be reappointed for a second term of 4 years and no more. Those appointed are Dr. Hussein Suleiman Kangiwa, Chairman, Northwest; Oparako Onyejalam Jaja, Member, Southeast; Philomena Isiama Kongwea, Member, South-South; Omo Bariola Busumi Oluwashola, Member, Southwest; Amina Rama Audu, Member, Northwest; Mrs. Esther Andrew, Member, North Central; Abba Audu Ibrahim, Member, Northeast; James David Lalu, Executive Secretary, North Central. You're watching the Network News on the NTA. Time now for our first commercial break. Do stay.
Welcome to Glow's new data plans with night browsing bonus. Dial *777#. Glow Unlimited.
Who says we have to go back to normal? What if we choose to be open and say, I will never call my job unimportant again? I refuse to be a stranger in my own living room. I'll lead like a woman, and I stand by every word I say. Make my vote count, make my voice heard today. See, I'll never forget how much stronger we are together. I'll carry that in my heart forever. We'll weather the storm, so I'll be open like never before.
We dey catchy feelings, we dey cry.
Amaka,
Life is easy, try. If you do better thing, you go thrive, mama.
Leave that house now.
Amaka. Stay where you are. You are going nowhere. Amaka!
For blockbuster movies like this, series and much more, download the Airtel TV app.
Mr. Announcer, you know tell them say this film is still there on top of fire. And you say me, we still the shoot, so.
Download the Airtel TV app from Apple and Android Play Store. Enjoy up to 1.5 gigabyte free data monthly. Airtel TV by Airtel, the smartphone network.
Tough on stains with longer lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer lasting freshness. Tough on stains with longer lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer lasting freshness. Tough on stains with longer lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer lasting freshness.
At Elizade Autoland, we don't just sell quality, we build quality. JAC
JAC Motors, assembled in Nigeria by Elizade Autoland. Increasing high demand for fleets of JAC Motor brands by members of the public and private sectors. JAC Motors are clearly built with one purpose in mind. They are built to serve. Elizade Autoland, sole distributor of JAC Motors in Nigeria.
Grown-ups, it doesn't matter. Have a cup of peak chocolate anytime and enjoy the delicious nourishment of chocolatey goodness. Peak. Reach for your peak.
I'm done. Really? Yes.
There's an easier way to get more data. Get more out of life with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now. Data is life.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Love is such a beautiful thing. But what happens when love hits the rock?
Please leave me alone.
When things turn sour.
Tell me the truth.
But this was for you, babe. Really? Yes.
And you fear the damage cannot be fixed.
But I don't want to lose my wife.
No, keep it there.
When relationships are in desperate need to be mended, that's where we come in.
Welcome back as we go to politics, where the Governor May Malabuni-led caretaker and extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress has reconciled the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timepre Silva. Deputy National Publicity Secretary of APC, Yekini Nabena, in a statement said the meeting held behind closed door charged the ministers to work together and lead the party's efforts to reconcile aggrieved members and reposition the party, particularly in the South-South region. Ahead of the governorship elections in Niger Delta states of Edo and Ondo, as well as legislative by-elections in Bayelsa and Cross River State, Governor May Malabuni charged the ministers to play lead roles in bringing together party members and stakeholders to ensure that the party emerges victorious. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has directed troops to be dynamic in their strategies as the hunt for the remnant of Boko Haram terrorists reaches final stage. Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai gave the directives while addressing troops at the Nigerian Army Super Camp 3 in Buratai, Borno State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was also there.
The Super Camp concept entails a fortified troops location with variety of platforms and highly mobile special forces. The Army Chief, who has been on operational tour of units and formations in the Northwest and Northeast, is here to appraise troops deployment and operations.
Operation of this nature must continuously be evolved.
While commending the troops for successes recorded, Lieutenant General Buratai charged them to sniff out criminals from their hideouts.
And henceforth, all our operations will be driven from what we have gotten from the intelligence corps. Our operations have been decided or guided by the same intelligence corps, but we are going to do more this time around. We should brace up for the final phase, and I expect you to get going. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. The Army Chief also inaugurated an access road constructed by the Nigerian Army engineers. This is to enhance rapid and aggressive response to threats. From the Nigerian Army Super Camp 3 in Buratai, Borno State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Enugu State Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Abdurrahman, has debunked reports that over 40 members of the proscribed Independent People of Biafra, IPOB, were arrested during their encounter on Sunday in Emene, a suburb of Enugu. CP Abdurrahman spoke to correspondent James Oparekocha.
The quiet, cold city of Enugu was disrupted on Sunday morning with the clash between the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB and law enforcement agents. Speaking on the matter, the Commissioner of Police Enugu State, Ahmed Abdurrahman, says all the stories making the rounds about the number of people arrested by the police is not true. He narrates what happened.
The members of the proscribed organization IPOB were being organized and trained on martial arts and also other militant kind of training. So they went there early in the morning around 0800 hours to disperse them, and unfortunately they were overwhelmed by the proscribed organizational members. And two of their officers were abducted and their arms were taken away. So it was at that point that the department sought for police assistance. So a combined team of security agencies were there on operation. The police are being accused to have arrested over 40 of the IPOB members. That is not true. The police arrested only 5. We are a kind of joint operations. The Army, the Air Force, the DDSs themselves, and each one has made his arrest.
Efforts to get the reaction from the Directorate of State Security Service, DSS, did not yield any result. Meanwhile, peace has returned to Emene as people have continued with their private affairs. From Enugu, James Oparekocha, NTA News.
And still on security, Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, has added his voice to the call for tolerance, respect for rule of law, and peaceful coexistence amongst the diverse ethnic groups in Kaduna State. This was after a closed-door meeting with the State Governor Nasiru Ahmad El Rufai at the Government House, Kaduna. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports.
It is one of the engagements with critical stakeholders toward lasting solution to the lingering southern Kaduna crisis. After about 3 hours behind closed doors, Governor Nasiru Ahmad El Rufai briefed the media on their deliberations.
He came on a private visit to talk to me, to advise me, to guide me, and also express his support for our efforts at bringing peace in Kaduna State. He is happy that many people have come, all talking about peace, and he should not be left out, particularly in light of our historical relationship.
Sultan's visit is coming few days after a similar engagement with the President Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in Kaduna. I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Now, Northeast Conference of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly is seeking for establishment of molecular testing centers in 5 states in the zone. They expressed this desire when they visited the management of Northeast Development Commission. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Present, only Bauchi State has a molecular testing center for COVID-19, while the other 5 states have to get their collected samples transported to other places for testing. The speakers therefore want the intervention of the Northeast Development Commission in that regards, and acknowledged timely and elaborate execution of projects in all states of the region, and encouraged it in areas ravaged by insurgency.
We are so much satisfied with the performance of the Northeast Development Commission, because if you go to the region, you will see their projects and activities virtually everywhere in the region.
The speakers also want the commission to partner assemblies in the region to digitalize their operations. Managing Director Northeast Development Commission Mohamed Al-Khali promised to initiate more programs that will have direct bearing in the lives of the people and highlighted achievements of the commission since it coming on board.
One of the critical functions of the commission is develop a master plan. And this master plan is being developed so that it is going to carry along almost everything you can think of in terms of infrastructure. So that's going to be our source of execution toward developing the Northeast.
The commission is to work with legislators to enact a law prohibiting the falling down of trees as source for local energy and degrading of the ecosystem in the Northeast. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Ahead of the resumption of international flights this weekend, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 says travelers must present a negative PCR COVID-19 test conducted within 7 days to boarding. This forms part of reviewed aviation protocols by the task force following concerns over the validity of some COVID-19 test results tendered for some evacuation flights. Betare Ben reports on Monday's briefing in Abuja.
The euphoria preceding the resumption of international flights is yet to abate, but the Presidential Task Force is taking cautious steps to prevent importation of coronavirus and community spread, which will necessitate periodic review of the protocols.
Unfortunately, the validation process for the pre-boarding PCR tests have shown, for instance, in Lagos on Saturday 20th, that stood at 404 of those cases. 64% came from evacuees and the people who were returning from other countries.
Airlines will be fined $3,500 US per passenger if they fail to comply with pre-boarding COVID requirements. These passengers may be sanctioned with inclusion on a travel watch list or their electronic passports suspended for a period of time.
Modalities for school resumption are still in progress, while health workers are advised to maintain a high index suspicion for COVID-19 in the course of duty.
I urge you to just bear with us a little bit more. We'll then announce when others can resume.
We continue to intensify efforts to train all frontline responders on the effective implementation of the infection prevention control measures.
The part of the training, again, is a judicious use of PPE so that you can also combat infection.
Although Nigeria's COVID-19 death toll has risen above 1,000 within the last 6 months, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, however, indicates that there is a steady decline in case fatality rate, which is now put at 1.92%. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And as coronavirus cases are on the rise, so are the efforts at containing it, the latest of which is the donation of 3 fully equipped ambulances and 50,000 face masks to the people of Osun State by the executive chairman of BUA Group, Abdul Samad Rabiu. Benny Adams reports that the donation was received by the governor, Adeboyega Oyetola.
Efforts to contain the spread and cure of the coronavirus by governments, the private sector, and individuals have continued to strive towards winning the fight. For the BUA Group, more than 7 billion naira in cash, medical supplies, equipment, infrastructure, foodstuff, health awareness, and more has been committed in the fight against COVID-19.
We are ready to support these states within Nigeria in line with the vision of the chairman, which is to support Nigerian enterprise, to Nigeria first, Africa first.
And for the people of Osun, 3 fully kitted ambulances and 50,000 face masks are an addition. Governor Adeboyega Oyetola extolled the life-saving gifts from the BUA Group and reiterated government's commitment to curbing COVID-19 in the state.
This initiative is a huge booster to the COVID-19 war as it will strengthen the logistics of picking and delivering COVID-19 patients across the state. On behalf of the government and the people of the state of Osun, I thank the managing director of Work Group, Mr. Kabiru Rabiu, and his team for joining our friends and corporate citizens who have taken the resolve to ensure a coronavirus-free state of Osun.
The Boa Group has been making different interventions to support states across the country. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Let's join Adeola in Lagos for more reports.
Kenny. Suspected vandals have again tampered with another NNPC pipeline in Lagos State, leading to panic among the residents. This time, it was on the Isheri axis near Barua along Lagos State University Road. Annie Daniels reports that prompt response from emergency responders saved the city from experiencing another pipeline fire disaster.
This operation was effected after receiving a distress call from some residents in Yanodo who live along NNPC pipeline routes. When NTA News crew got to the scene of the incident, officials of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, Lagos State Fire Service and other security agents were on ground working to avert a fire disaster. They smelled danger in the air when the odor of petrol became almost unbearable.
We discovered that suspected vandals have tampered with the pipeline. A peg was tampered with, which resulted in petrol gushing out of the pipeline.
NTA News crew could not gain access into the spot of the pipeline leakage because of bushy terrain.
The bush, they disturb us.
How?
Because if you want patrol now, if anybody inside that bush, we no go see in the night.
Residents of the area are optimistic that the authorities will take adequate steps to protect the pipelines from vandals.
Look at this pipeline now, it's here. Look at the entrance, look at the warning there, and still go ahead and bust this land, which is very wrong. When anything happens, everybody will be blaming the federal government.
In the next 48 hours, indiscriminate burning should not be carried out, no form of careless ignition, so that we will not record any unfortunate incidents.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Fire Service has blanketed the locality with emulsifiers fires to prevent any form of fire outbreak. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
More than 250,000 unemployed youths will be direct beneficiaries of the Immortal Rice Mill plant when it commences operation in December 2020. Acting Commissioner of Agriculture, Lagos State, Abisola Olusoya, said this is in line with the government's agenda to diversify the economy and end importation of foreign rice into Nigeria. Abolade Salami reports.
Driving a sustainable means of attaining food sufficiency, most especially in rice production, as well as other agro-allied products, as a way to encourage domestic consumption and exports, has been on the front burner of the present administration. To this end, the federal government, as a way of reducing the huge capital outflow used for food imports, instructed the Apex Bank in 2019 to stop providing funds for importation of food, especially foreign rice, in order to encourage Nigerian farmers and create jobs. This initiative has therefore encouraged the Lagos State government to hasten work at the nation's largest rice mill plant in sub-Saharan Africa, with a production capacity of 32,000 metric tons per hour.
So this mill is actually going to be a wealth generator and a job generator as well. So we are believing that with the partnership of everyone in this locality, in Lagos State, in Nigeria as a whole, we'll start reaching our food security status goal of making sure that no Lagosian is hungry, no Nigerian is hungry.
The rice mill plant, which occupies 26 hectares of land in Imota, is projected to produce about 2.4 million or 50 kg bags of rice annually, to help reduce overdependence on importation of foreign rice.
By the time this rice may start functioning, hopefully by December,
is going to collapse the price of local rice.
If we still continue about importation, it will be a setback to the country because the farmer have been improving in the farming of the rice.
While the federal government's food security strategy is yielding positive results, governments at all levels have been admonished to maximize the benefits of agriculture as a vehicle to boost revenue and create employment. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Network News will continue after this break. To stay on.
They talk to you plenty now because I get glue too. That make me they talk. Please, I be not be so. All right. Don't be say I won't talk plenty. Una no self say I no dey lie. You see this glow? If you get them, una no go even una go just they talk they go because it is not there.
Enjoy international calls from as low as 40 kobo per second from Nigeria to the world. Call your loved ones today.
Thank you, my sister. You do well, eh?
Glow Unlimited.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using New Mortein Instakill. New Mortein Instakill's improved formulation knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster. Not even a single mosquito is spared because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Insta knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster.
Panadol Extra, now also available in a 4-tablet strip at 50 naira only. Panadol Extra, now also available in a 4-tablet strip at 50 naira only. Panadol Extra, now also available in a 4-tablet strip at 50 naira only.
It's looking really good.
Cadbury Hot Chocolate 3-in-1, a delicious combination of rich cocoa and wholesome goodness of milk. Just add hot water to get an instant chocolatey treat. Cadbury Hot Chocolate 3-in-1. Just add hot water. Available in stores at 18 naira. Here is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent. But now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy. Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
The opponent is down. Amatem Soft Gel. A good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
It is morning. A new beginning. As you prepare everyone for the day ahead, just anything is not enough. Only you make breakfast special. Creamy. Tasty. With vitamins and nutrients we need for a delightful, healthy start.
So start your day right with Hollandia Evap.
Right nutrients for a healthy breakfast.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using New Mortein Instakill. New Mortein Instakill's improved formulation knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster. Not even a single mosquito is spared because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Insta knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster.
Panadol Extra, now also available in a 4-tablet strip at 50 naira only. Panadol Extra, now also available in a 4-tablet strip at 50 naira only. Panadol Extra, now also available in a 4-tablet strip at 50 naira only.
Thanks for staying with us. Over now to business news with Moplang Dakok.
Thank you very much, Kene. Good evening and welcome to Business News. Latest report by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that Nigeria's gross domestic product GDP declined by -6.10% year-on-year in real terms in the second quarter of 2020. The report says the significant drop reflects the negative impacts of the disruption caused by COVID-19 pandemic and crashing oil prices on the Nigerian economy. The GDP numbers also show that the oil sector recorded 6.63% year-on-year in the second quarter 2020, indicating a decrease of 13.8%, while the non-oil sector declined by 6.05% in real terms during the second quarter of 2020. Non-oil sector output was driven by financial and insurance institutions, agriculture, information and communication, and public administration, while sectors which experienced the highest negative growth were topped by transport and storage, accommodation, and food services. And on the capital market, transactions on the floor of the Nigerian stock market opened the week in positive territory this Monday as investors gained 3.788 billion naira. The NSE All Share Index inched up marginally by 0.03% to open the week at 25,229.12 basis points. Investors exchanged 251 million shares valued at 2.3 billion naira in 3,737 deals. Transaction in the shares of Transcorp, Zenith Bank, and Guarantee Trust Bank topped the activity chart in terms of volume of traded shares. Unilever, Guinness, and PZ were the top price gainers for the day, while Zenith Bank and Presco topped market value list. And that's all from the business desk. Kene?
Thank you, Moplang. The Nigerian Customs Service has described as gross misrepresentation a statement which has gone viral on social media that its Comptroller General Hamid Ali is against the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement while appearing at a public hearing of the Senate Committee on Finance. The Comptroller General's position is in support of increased local production for the country, which will make it benefit from the forthcoming ACFTA. He explains that the implications of the Free Trade Agreement on revenue, emphasizing that all imports from member countries will be duty-free, which necessitated his clamor to encourage local production.
I would rather collect more money from export than import, because for every import that comes in, we are sending our money out there. Yeah. For any export we send, we are making money coming in. I'm working on establishing an e-custom project. E-custom project will enable us to deploy 135 scanners in all our borders, both land, air, and sea.
The Comptroller General also stated that attempts by the writer to link the CGS comments at the hearing to issues of scanners, partial border closure, and by almost recommended single window system as a viable means of increasing customs revenue collection makes it evident that he is oblivious that the amended Customs and Excise Management Act has not been signed into law. Now we join Kemi in Ibadan.
Thank you, Kenny, and welcome to Ibadan. Oyo State Police Command is to reparade the suspected serial killer Sunday Shotikpe, who was arrested on Sunday after escaping police custody. The State Police Commissioner Unwachuku Unwanwu says this is necessary to reassure the public on the identity of the suspect. Rofia Animasha Badmos has the situation report.
The need to reparade the suspect, according to the State Police Commissioner, was because of a cross-section of the public who claimed that the person arrested on Sunday was not the same person that escaped from the police custody.
We try as much as we can in our crime control strategies to be on top of the situation and checkmate certain crimes we foresee coming so that they don't take us unawares.
While speaking on the attack on two policemen by some assailants at Ikolaba police station in Ibadan, the police commissioner said it was unfortunate that Constable Dada Christopher died on the spot, while Inspector Busui Ayodele is responding to treatment in the hospital.
And I told them at night times, they must lock the gate of the station because that's not the time to visit suspects or to come and bring food for them. So that time, they should lock the gate to the station and open only the small gate and monitor movements in and out of that small gate. Anybody coming in must be checked and frisked to know the purpose in the station.
He, however, assured the people of the state that adequate security is being put in place for safety of the people. In Ibadan, Rofia and Imashan Badmos, NTA News.
A daylight armed robbery operation has claimed one life in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Correspondent Rofia and Imashan Badmos again completes the story.
The ever-busy Agodi area of the state capital was a peaceful environment when suddenly the people heard gunshots. The unusual nature of the development made people to run helter-skelter before noticing that a bike rider was down. He was actually the target of the assailant who had monitored his movement from an ATM point. The victim was said to have left the ATM point after collecting money.
I see one man wear blue cap. Immediately one jam me, he removed the cap. As he removed the cap, then follow one way. They don't know road self. Then follow one way. To say I not say they don't collect something for catch them.
We heard the sound. We thought it was just a tire that busted. But later we were informed that the man was shot. So I now went there to confirm if truly the man was shot or just an accident. So when I got there, I could see that the man was bleeding. So I called people to help. The man is an healthy man, so I couldn't carry him alone. But to my surprise, nobody is ready to help.
The suspected armed robbers escaped from the scene. In Ibadan, Rofia and Imashan Badmos, NTA News.
That does it from here. Kenneth, back to you.
Thank you, Kemi. President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with the Kwara States, the Tijaniya movement in Nigeria, and the Emir of Ilorin on the demise of the Grand Caliph of Tijaniya, Kwara State, Sheikh Abdurrahman Yusuf Meyaki. The president also condoles with Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, the Ilorin Emirate, the Meyaki family of Ilori, and the entire Muslim Ummah on the passage of the frontline teacher of Islamic education. As a preacher of note, President Buhari affirms that the late Sheikh was an embodiment of peace and will be surely missed for his tranquil disposition and representation in all matters. And that's Network News tonight. Thanks indeed for watching. My name is Kenan Ima Abodike. Do have a good night.